Okay, so now let's proceed to factors affecting enzymatic reaction. Okay, so what are the first factor that can affect, okay, the enzymatic reaction? So firstly, we look at the substrate concentration. Okay, so at low substrate concentration, so you look at here, okay, the rate of enzyme reaction increase with increasing substrate concentration. Okay, so kalau tengok based on graph, as substrate concentration increase, so what happened to the rate of the reaction? It will also be increased. And then the active site of an enzyme molecule can bind with a certain number of substrate molecule at a given time. Okay, maksudnya bila substrate concentration ni semakin tinggi, okay, so apa yang berlaku kepada rate of reaction pun dia akan jadi semakin meningkat. Okay, and then the active site of an enzyme molecule can only bind with a certain number of substrate molecule at a given time. Okay, so maksudnya active site of enzyme ni cuma boleh bind kepada substrate, okay, with a certain number of substrate molecule at a given time. Okay, but what happened at high substrate concentration? Okay, there is saturation of the active site. Maksudnya walaupun substrate concentration ni adalah tinggi, tapi disebabkan oleh berlakunya saturation of the active site. Saturation of active site ni maksudnya active site of enzyme tak cukup, okay, untuk bind kepada lebihan substrate yang ada. So what happened? Incoming substrate molecule must wait for their turn to occupy an empty active site. Maksudnya substrate yang sedia ada tu, dia perlu menunggu supaya dia boleh bind kepada active site of enzyme disebabkan oleh substrate concentration yang tinggi. So ini kita maksudkan sebagai active site is active site of enzyme are saturated. Okay, so what happened to the rate of reaction? It will reach the maximum level. So that's why awak akan nampak dia punya grafnya akan berbentuk macam ni lah. Okay. Sebab apa? When substrate concentration increase, actually the rate of reaction also will become increased until there is a saturation of active site of enzyme here. So means that walaupun substrate concentrationnya tinggi, tetapi substrate tu perlu tunggu supaya adanya empty active site supaya substrate boleh bind kepada active site of enzyme tersebut. So ini kita katakan sebagai the first factor, okay, that can affect the enzymatic reaction, which are substrate concentration. Okay, so this is the diagram. Okay, so kalau awak tengok based on the diagram, let's say this is the substrate, this is the active site of enzyme. So this substrate can bind to the active site of enzyme. But what happened when the concentration of the substrate is increase or it is in high level? So what happened to the active site of enzyme? It will become saturated. So means that there is no free active site of enzyme that can bind to the substrate. So that's why substrate must wait for their turn, okay, to bind to the empty active site of enzyme. So that's why yang ini menunjukkan bahawa, okay, the rate of reaction is already reached its maximum level. Okay. And then the second factor are temperature. So for temperature, enzyme work within the range of temperature specific to the organism, and then the rate of enzymatic reaction increase with increasing temperature. So means that as temperature increase, so the rate of enzymatic reaction also will be increased. Okay, why? Because at higher temperature, the kinetic energy of molecule will be increased and molecule move more rapidly. So berlakulah pergerakan molekul tu dengan lebih cepat. Okay, so the chances of substrate colliding with the active site of enzyme molecule increase. So when temperature increase, the rate of reaction between the substrate and enzyme increase. So the keywords here is when temperature is high, so the kinetic energy of molecule will be increased and molecule will move more rapidly. So the chances ataupun kita kata the colliding between the substrate and also the active site of enzyme also will be increased. Okay, so this is the graph of the temperature. So it will look like this. Okay, so kalau kita tengok one by one, at low temperature, rate of enzymatic reaction are low. Okay, because kinetic energy are low. Okay, so it will decrease the chances of substrate colliding with active site. Maksudnya pertembungan di antara substrate, okay, untuk collide, bertembung dengan active site tu adalah rendah. Disebabkan oleh kinetic energy of the molecule tu pun rendah. Okay, tetapi apa yang berlaku sekiranya the temperature keep increase? Okay, so what happened to the rate of enzymatic reaction? Also, it will be increased, okay, by increasing with the temperature. Because of what? Because substrate collide with active site more frequently when the molecule move rapidly. Okay, and then for every 10 degrees Celsius, okay, it will raise in temperature. So the rate of reaction is double. Okay, up to the optimum temperature. So if you look at here, optimum temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius, okay, to 40. So what happened here? Optimum temperature is at which the enzymatic reaction is at maximum. So kalau awak tengok dekat sini, so this is the indicator that, okay, rate of the reaction is maximum. So dekat mana? Yang ni kita katakan sebagai optimum temperature. Okay, but above optimum temperature, the speed of the speed of enzymatic reaction will drop. So kita akan nampak berlaku decline. Okay, based on the rate of reaction here. Why? Because enzyme is denatured. Kenapa denatured? Because the extreme temperature will break the hydrogen bond, ionic bond and other weak interaction that stabilize the active site of enzyme. Okay, so the substrate can no longer the substrate can no longer fit into the active site of the enzyme. Okay, so ingatlah, bila sahaja the temperature tu dia melebihi optimum temperature, so what happen to the rate of the enzymatic reaction? It will drop sharply. Okay, so what happened? Because enzyme is denatured. Okay, so this is the graph, okay, for the temperature, how it will affect the enzymatic reaction. Okay, and then next we look at the third factor. So third factor are pH. So actually every enzyme will function most efficiently over a particular pH range. Okay, setiap enzyme ni dia akan function dengan lebih efisien, okay, bergantung kepada pelbagai lah, okay, pH range. Okay, so the optimum pH is that at which the maximum rate of reaction occurs. So different enzyme has different optimum pH. Okay, maksudnya dekat sini kita tengok based on this table. Contohnya enzyme pepsin, its optimum pH is 2. But sucrase, its optimum pH is 4.5. Maksudnya setiap enzyme mungkin optimum pH-nya adalah tak sama. Tapi bila dia berada pada keadaan optimum pH, so what happen to the rate of the reaction? It will become at maximum. Okay. So kalau contohnya enterokinase 5.5, salivary amylase 6.8 and then catalase is 7.6. Okay, and then the optimal pH for most human enzyme is between 6 to 8. Okay, however, pepsin, a protein digestive enzyme, works in a very acidic environment, optimally at pH 2. Okay, in contrast, trypsin, a protein splitting enzyme secreted by the pancreas, will function best under slightly basic condition found in the small intestine. So means that as a conclusion, different enzyme has their own optimum pH, has different optimum pH. Okay, and then a deviation from optimum pH range result in an excess hydrogen ion or hydroxyl ion. So when pH decrease, so the acidity will be increased. So bila acidity increase, hydrogen ion also will be increased. So what is the consequence? Positive charge increase. Tapi berbeza dengan if pH increase, acidity will be decreased. Okay, so hydroxyl ions increase and then negative charge increase. So this alter the electric charge on the enzyme and also it will alter the side chain of amino acid in the enzyme. Okay, it will cause the ionic bond to be broken. Okay, and then it will change the conformation of the active site. So the substrate cannot fit into the active site of the enzyme and enzyme substrate complex cannot be formed. So tak boleh terbentuk lah enzyme substrate complex. So what happened to the rate of the reaction? It will become lowered. And the many enzymes become inactive and usually irreversible, denatured when the medium is very acidic or very basic. Okay. Okay, so this is the factors, okay, that can affect the enzymatic reaction. Okay.